head to the voicemail of Truth and Reason.
Morning, guys. Hope you had a great weekend. I have to call you guys when I'm thinking of things, but I just happened to watch a talk show on ESPN, and they were talking about quarterbacks or players in general who had the most pressure on them this year. Okay, and the number 4 person with the most pressure was Deshaun Watson, and I can understand that. So the number 1, okay, was Lamar Jackson, and they mentioned him as 2-time MVP of the league. Okay, sound familiar? 2-time, he's coach of the year. This guy's MVP. Anyways, they said always in the last couple years, the worst game he played was in the playoffs. He said, and you can make book on it, is what he said. And they're right. Every time he goes to the playoffs, it's not really a good game. Kind of sounds like our head coach, 45-14. Every time he goes to the playoffs, hasn't won one yet. He's either in his basement or not there. Anyways, guys, I hope you had a great weekend again. Take care.
As always, appreciate all of the voicemails. Fred, that's Jim from Rochester who calls in frequently. Kevin Stefanski's done a good job, and I feel silly having to defend a guy. Relative to the playoffs, yeah, they didn't play well against the Texans. Part of it was Kevin Stefanski's fault. Did you really expect them to go in there and win with what they had?
I thought they had a good chance, but yeah, I mean, I wasn't expecting Stroud to play like he did that day. But yeah, and I wasn't expecting the defense to get exposed. But for everything that Joe Flacco did great, he threw 2 pick sixes that really jump-started and really, you take that. It's hard to overcome that anytime, any game you play. But it's hard for me to agree with the criticism of Stefanski. For what I've covered since the team returned in '99, he's got a 37-30 record since he's been with the Browns. They haven't had anybody with close to that type of record. You want continuity. I really think the Browns are in a good place with Stefanski and Andrew Berry. Berry's 37 and Stefanski's like 42. Sure, he's made mistakes. Now he's entering his 5th year. Do you think he's learned anything? He really is comfortable in his own skin. He brought in Mike Vrabel. I mean, Mike Vrabel, could be a threat to his job. Jim Schwartz could be a threat to his job. He's not worried about that. And the Browns rewarded him and gave him, a long-term extension. So I think you got to like the stability. Sure, I think he'll get better, the longer he's been around. I mean, I don't know what Andy Reid looked like his first 4 years in the league, but I'm sure there was there's a reason he got fired in Philadelphia. And so I think there's a lot of potential and upside. You gotta let him grow. He's a very smart individual. I think he was smart enough to go out and say, I'm just not good with the skill set of Deshaun Watson. I'm good with the Joe Flacco type quarterback. I'm good with the Case Keenum, the Baker Mayfield or the under center conventional quarterback. And maybe I need to have some help, and bring in somebody that's worked with mobile quarterbacks like Ken Dorsey, who worked with Cam Newton and Josh Allen. So we'll see. But no, I think, sure, Kevin Stefanski, but he's not on the field making the plays.
Yeah, the 2 pick sixes, and I'm sure he didn't coach Joe Flacco to do that. I don't know what the coaching point was. A coach never tells his quarterback to throw a pick 6 in a playoff game. He threw 2 of them on back-to-back plays. The other thing is, remember where the franchise was when Berry and Stefanski took over? Where are they at now? And Jim calls all the time, he wants a Super Bowl. All right, they got him to respectability in a playoff team. Now the next step is make them a continual playoff team, win a playoff game, get a home playoff game. Again, It doesn't happen from 0 to 65 overnight. So let's see. They've earned the right to see if they can now make this a perennial playoff team that gets home playoff games and goes deep into playoffs. At least in my mind, they have.
Well, unfortunately for the Browns, they're not like the Guardians playing in the AL Central, you know. Like I said, you got to even the division is a gauntlet. And then if you won the division, look at the teams you still got to get by to even get to the Super Bowl. I mean, you can make a case for the Dolphins, the Bills, of course, the Chiefs, the Chargers now with because they have a quarterback and now they have Harbaugh. I mean, there's still 8, 9, 10 teams that you can make a case that you got to get through in order to get to the Super Bowl. So I just want a team that is in the playoffs and now you have a chance because I think the way the NFL is structured, you get to the playoffs, anything can happen. It comes down to maybe in that day, that playoff game, are you better than Lamar Jackson? Or is your quarterback better than Patrick Mahomes that day? So anything can happen, but you got to get into the tournament, and then you have a chance.